So after initial testing last weekend, we've got a considerable amount of work that needs to get done out in the shop on the race cars. But unfortunately, race cars aren't what we're working on today. Our Monday is going to be spent mostly dealing with honey-do lists.
It's a fine Monday.
Yeah.
Vicky projects going on.
My wife has discovered Facebook Marketplace, and over the weekend she's made a purchase online that's going to require her truck or multiple trucks to bring it home, which brings us to our first problem of the day. So we got a conference table that Vicky's found on Marketplace. We're supposed to go get it today, and we were going to take Billy's truck, but show him, Steve. The wheels are loose. It turns out it was just playing the axle shaft. But anyway, I made the executive decision to take my truck up to the farm and grab Vicky's 64 C10. That way we can strap the table down on my flatbed and we'll use her truck to haul home her new assortment of conference table chairs. So we stop up at the farm, pick up her truck, and I'm going to follow Tanner in the 64 all the way into Whitehall, which was about a 45-minute drive in near the airport from Mom and Dad's farm. And Tanner's directions led us to problem number 2 for the day. So now what?
Well, I don't see 4400, I see 4450, which 4400 is the address I was given, and this is where it brought us to, is this parking lot of nothing.
Now this is pretty much par for the course when it comes to my wife and directions. Make a phone call to my wife and tell her we need the exact address to this bullshit bakery, because we are definitely not at a bakery.
Nope.
Apparently, this conference table and chair set that she's purchased is at a commercial bakery with very high security.
Okay, well, it's already open, so I should be able to just drive right through it.
Tanner got the phone number of the bakery from Vicky and called them, and they assured him that he's not far away. We've just pulled into the wrong entrance, a problem that we repeated twice. But you know what they say, third time's a charm. Tanner pulled up and punched in the code they gave him, but since he didn't share the code with me and I didn't have the phone number to call to get my own, I initiated a security breach and snuck in behind him. Are we sure this is the place?
Yeah, I saw the sign that said 4400, and then I saw the name, the Syrup Lay or whatever bakery, and then he told me to come in here and park behind the door 19 is what he said.
Confident that our coordinates are now correct, Tanner prepares to get down to business. Holy shit. As Tanner and these guys load this table up on my truck, I figure this is a prime example as to why you should not get married. You guys married?
No.
Well, stay that way. While Tanner straps the table down on my truck, these guys help me load up the chairs.
Just enough. That ain't going anywhere.
Hit it again, Tanner, and say that.
That ain't going anywhere.
One more time.
It might go somewhere.
After looking at it, I wouldn't be upset if it did. Well, we're headed home with the latest addition to Vickyville. 1 conference table and 6. Now granted, the initial price for this stuff was pretty good, but personally I would have left this stuff right where it sat. I almost paid him $200 to leave that pot there.
You sent us on a wild goose chase and there were no geese.
Well,
Gooses, Steve. This thing is beat to
we're gonna cover it anyway.
You're gonna cover the legs? Look at it.
Well, that's what Dave's for.
He could have built us a nicer one.
Just that one spot.
You're missing the one spot there that goes all the way around 6 times.
What do you mean?
The next potential problem is damaging something valuable with this pile of
You have cleared the 55. I love my double doors too. Just think about all the parties, all the uses, all the meals that we'll have around this table. Just picture it with like either the logos or, you know what would be cool? The tailgate of the S10. The thing that started it all. Just a giant big tailgate. No? How about all 3 logos? How about a mirage of all the vehicles?
How about we go to lunch?
Sounds like a plan.
Within the next several weeks, we're going to be taking my Monte Carlo apart to replace the entire drivetrain. But before we take the car apart, I'd like to enjoy it a little bit in this nice weather, and I've got a few little errands I want to run with it before we take the car apart and it becomes immovable without a trailer. So on our way down to Buckeye Lake to get lunch, I stopped down at the upholstery shop to check on my stuff for the 55 and get some ideas on the best way to tackle restoring the interior in my Monte Carlo. As usual in the old G bodies, the plastics are faded and brittle, and the vinyl seats are dingy and cracking. So we put together a list of options and decided I'd bring the car back to him after I get the roll cage installed. Anyway, after visiting the upholstery shop, Tanner and I head closer to Buckeye Lake in search of someplace we can sit down and get a bite to eat. And of course, I wanted to talk to Tanner a little bit about what it was like to drive the 55 Chevy last weekend at Trails, when he made the fastest pass at a track he's ever made. So what'd you think of driving the 55 on nitrous this weekend? Come on.
That thing moves.
Billy bought this car turnkey a few months ago as a drag and drive car and took it to Florida for 6 weeks. Since then, I've been working on the car for him, trying to get the car straightened up. It went 127 60 foot. What was that like?
I don't know how to explain it. The fastest I've been to the 60 foot's like 136 or something like that.
Tanner turned the nitrous kit on the 55 and made a successful pass, and although the engine was breaking up in low gear and the converter is definitely not happy in high gear, Tanner managed to go a personal best in the 55 at 584 to 117. Tommy said in the GoPro video it sounded like he couldn't even hardly hear it shift.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's what Tommy said. I don't know.
I must have just been focusing on driving.
In a car he's hardly ever driven, going faster than he's ever gone, it's hard to decipher what's really happening. That's the fastest you've ever been, you know.
I mean, it doesn't have a headrest, so I'm like,
falling
away from it when it's going down the track, and 580s in a car that doesn't have a headrest is not very fun.
Although my Malibu isn't quite as fast as the 55, I can definitely attest that it is difficult to drive a relatively quick street car without proper back and head support. The bench seat in my Malibu folds forward to let passengers into the back, and definitely doesn't offer much in support, especially when making nitrous passes at the track.
Your seat literally lays back.
Oh my God, my Malibu's a pile to drive. It's like trying to go nines on a couch.
Yeah.
Did you see how bad the steering wheel's bent?
Yeah, every time I turn it, it's like...
I've literally bent the steering wheel trying to hang on to it making nitrous passes. But the steering wheel isn't the only problem with the Malibu. Tuesday morning, I come to find out there's also a problem again with the heater core. You know, the one buckwheat just replaced with one out of a junkyard. Ahem.
What?
Warranty claim. Malpractice.
Warranty my ass.
Bullshit, it's leaking. Malpractice. This time you've ruined the carpet in the car. The original carpet.
Didn't ruin it. You got a shampooer over here, suck it out.
This will be the second warranty claim filed against Buckwheat after he refused to replace the heater core with a new one from Mark.
I'm gonna pull it out and see where it's broken at.
What do you got there?
It's the new Chumpy Improved product. Check it out, it comes pre-bent with a ding.
You're the freaking ding.
It's nice, I think it's... That's for high performance.
How long is it going to take to get this fixed?
Oh, probably hours upon hours.
I'll be billed accordingly, I'm certain. And in typical Buckwheat fashion, he starts disassembling my Malibu and spreading the parts all over the floor. But the bigger problem is the fact that the heater core that Jeremy picked up from Mark doesn't fit. And Jeremy bills his labor hours whether he's working or chasing parts. It all pays the same to him. You know what? Between the two of you, I'm ready to just say the hell with it, tie the hoses together, and run it without a damn heater.
Here's your original one.
The original one never left anything on my floorboard, though.
Evident.
Well, do me a favor, will you? Create an area to put other than on the floor where everybody's stepping on it and walking through it.
Put it in and go back together.
Well, it ain't going back together, is it? While Buckwheat's out in the shop trying to resolve an incorrect heater core situation, Vicky calls me into the house to console her sister who's having a rough day.
Today is not the day.
What's the matter? You got a nice new mail van out there.
It's a POS.
It's a what?
It's a POS. It's the struggle bus for me today.
Everything is in a different position. She was with that other mail Jeep for, 25 years? She didn't even get to say goodbye.
To it.
They just took it away, didn't tell her.
No.
And left her with this.
And left me with that. It's got 84 miles on it.
She wanted to retire with her old one.
Well, one in one hand and shit in the other one. See which one fills up faster.
She did say it has heat, air, and a comfy seat.
Yeah, I shouldn't have too much humidity this summer.
I would have never guessed someone would go postal over getting a new vehicle to drive at work. Anyway, I go back outside to check on Dave, who's continuing to work on the trailer, when another unexpected guest arrives in the driveway. This time, it's Mark's new delivery driver, who he sent to pick up the incorrect heater core and hopefully drop off the correct one. That, according to April, Buckwheat ordered incorrectly. You ordered the wrong parts?
No, I didn't. Oh, yeah?
What happened? Why did we get the wrong parts?
I'm just the driver. I just know if the part's wrong, I have to bring it back.
You ordered the wrong part, Buckwheat?
How is that? I ordered it for a 79 Malibu.
You ordered the wrong one.
How does the chump even get it wrong? Because there's only one 79 ice cream delivery vehicle with a heater core out of it.
The only thing left to do is figure out who's paying the bill.
There, talk. Where's your excuses at? Where's your excuses
You're
at?
not on speaker, dingus.
Yes, I am.
Well, then turn it up so I can hear it. I finally give up. I've got more important things to take care of right now. Uncle Bob called me a couple of days ago and gave me a parts list of things that he needs to finish up my 440 and Jimmy Dale's 434 up at the machine shop. At this point, he's got Jimmy Dale's short block ready, but he needs a new timing belt for my 440. And he's also got another little project that he needs my help with this week, if I can work him in. I brought you a present. Is that what you needed?
Yeah, one of many.
So this thing's just about done, right?
Trying to round up the last parts.
Good, because I got a black Monte Carlo that's just begging for that thing. Did you see my video? That's pretty embarrassing. 1930 something.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a headwind, but it bucked and kicked, but it finally took off and went down the track. I think that's going to get it going down the track a lot better.
It will.
How's Jimmy Dale's engine coming?
It's coming. Working on it also. Bolting stuff together.
What's this Corvette sitting over here you called me about?
It's just something I got that needs to move on.
So you bought that to take to Florida,
I
but
bought that as a garage find. It was in a guy's garage. I was looking at a motorhome and it was in a guy's garage. And it was up on wheels, or up on jack stands. And I said, what's the deal with the Corvette? And he was like, oh, it was my brother's, and doo-dah, and I ended up and took it home. Honestly, I don't like the top part of it, to where you got a hand put the top in. So my wife can't drive it, and if it starts to rain, she can't put the top in herself. So we were going to take it to Florida, and we brought it in, was doing just going over it, and I pulled the string and went and bought a Camaro that had the automatic top. We like it, and I've now owned a Corvette. I love it. It drives good, but I just don't have a need for it.
now that Bob's back from Florida, he's got a pile of work to do at the machine shop and doesn't really have time to take care of trying to sell his Corvette. So I told him I would help him out. The first thing we've got to do is get this thing cleaned up and detailed. It's been sitting in Bob's machinery shed over at the farm for the last 6 months. It definitely needs some paint correction work, but the biggest issue with the Corvette that I can see is that the fiberglass removable top needs to be repainted. So my first stop with the Corvette was at House of Pearls to get a quote on what it would cost to have the top fixed. As usual, when I pulled in, everybody was busy working on separate projects. While the guys are out back block sanding on that Barracuda, Nikki was busy wet sanding the Super and getting it ready to start buffing and polishing early next week. We're also trying to get back on Mom and Dad's 55 Chevy next week if some parts show up that I've been waiting on. Even though they're very busy, Paul came out to look at the Corvette and explained to me that the top has been wrapped and that once it's removed, the repair work won't be too bad and painting it shouldn't be a problem. So now that we've got a plan in place to tackle the top, Tanner and I plan on taking Uncle Bob's Corvette to what I call the Wax Palace, in by the airport in Columbus. Of course, I'm talking about Jack's Wax. I've been leaning on these guys pretty heavy the last few months for help with paint correction problems on multiple different vehicles, but this black Corvette may be the worst one I've brought to them yet.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, buddy.
I bring you the Corvette barn find. Literally, it came out of a barn.
You told me it was rough, but I didn't think it was this rough.
It's pretty rough. So Bob bought this thing. He's had it for a few years. His wife can't take the top on and off by herself, so they don't want to take it to Florida and take the top off of it, because if it rains, she can't get the top back on by herself. So they bought a Camaro with an automatic top. But this thing has been sitting in the barn ever since, as you can see.
Yeah, it'll be a good transformation because although it's dirty and stuff right now, this paint will shine up nice.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the top, because the top, somebody's wrapped that, and House of Pearls is going to take care of that when we get it back. Oh, it's a gem.
Yeah, it is a nice one.
So you think Tidy can do something with this?
I think he's got this one under control. The cool thing about this one is because it is truly right out of a barn, the transformation will be tremendous. I mean, because of the black paint.
Yeah.
If it was white, it wouldn't be crazy, but this would be something.
Yeah, it'll be something.
We'll put him to work. He's going to get it, earn his dollar on this. Yeah. I did tell him yesterday. He called, and I told him that he had one. I didn't tell him it was black and exactly how bad. So once he gets down here, we may have to like lock him in here.
All right, so that brings us to Wednesday morning. Now there's two things going on today. The grass is growing like crazy, and I need to get this 55 Chevy dialed in and straightened up so we can go testing with it, hopefully later this week. All right, so it sounds like Billy has gotten himself into a private test session on Friday, and he wants to take the Nova, and he wants to take the Falcon, and I would like to take this because we have never had this on a dyno, and we've never actually taken it to the track to sort it out on motor. I think the last time I checked the timing, it had 40 degrees in it.
Yeah.
But we've never actually verified that the timing pointer is true top dead center at 0. So 40 degrees may mean it's got 35. It may mean it's got 45 in it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But by all indications, from what I have seen out of this car so far, I don't think it's got as much timing in it as what the timing pointer says, or it just needs more timing than 40 degrees. I really want to go through this thing and sort this out, because we've kind of been stumbling along with this car thus far, finding things the hard way.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of things that have crept up on us on this car that we've just kind of bumped into. We've kind of figured it out the hard way. And this is something I don't want to figure out the hard way.
Yeah, because this could be pulling the whole motor out of it if it doesn't go the right way with
Right.
nitros and stuff like
I mean,
that.
the way the car is right now, it's a really good index car. It could be a really good bracket car. It's a decent true street car.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the last pass you made out there on nitrous, it went like 584
Yeah.
at 117. It's blowing through the converter, which I've already called Bubba to get a converter built. But, I mean, my God, it went 127 shooting ducks.
That's what surprised everybody. It like the fact that it left and was shooting ducks till about 7,000 RPMs when I shifted into second gear, and it still went 127. And for the fact that it was shooting ducks, and
It's not right.
it's not right at all.
So, I mean, from what I saw, I think the car's capable of going 570s, 560s just with the tune-up right,
Oh yeah.
without a converter swap. And then factor in that it really doesn't have a lot of front-end travel.
Yep.
It also doesn't have adjustable shocks on the front.
Nope.
So there's no way to control the front-end rise. It just kind of hops up there and does its thing.
Yeah, you can watch it in Billy's video. As soon as it comes up, it maxes them out.
Really
and then when it
fast.
comes down, it brings them back down, and then it remaxes them back
Yeah.
out. It doesn't keep the front end hyped up.
Right. So I kind of want to look into, while we've got it up here in the shop, I want to do a compression test. I'd like to try and verify that the timing pointer is actually top dead center, and see where the timing's at. I'd also like to look at the front control arms and see if there's any stoppers that we can take out, like the control arm stoppers,
Yeah, get
to
more
see if
travel.
there's more travel we can get. And then I'm going to probably call Viking Performance and see if I can get a set of front shocks for this thing, some dual adjustable Crusaders.
Yeah, she needs it.
Yeah, because I think that this car could possibly go low fives.
Oh yeah, this thing could probably go down there to Jimmy Dale's race and run 530s.
I think it would. I mean, potentially.
Oh yeah.
We just need to sharpen our pencil. So the first thing I want to do on the 55 today is do a compression test to see how much cylinder pressure we're working with, because that will likely dictate which way we go with the timing and the heat range on the spark plugs. So in comparison, the 421 in my Malibu,
Yeah.
take a guess what it pumps.
Probably 180.
250. While the 55 Chevy's 555 big block only pumps 160, the 421 in my Malibu pumps 250. Although there are many factors that will dictate how much ignition timing an engine will require. Typically, the higher the static compression, the less timing an engine will need. Now, typically, when we build a new engine, or Bob assembles a new engine up at the machine shop, he'll set a dial indicator on number 1 piston, bring it up to top dead center, and then index the timing pointer to exactly what the dial indicator says is top dead center. Obviously, we didn't build this engine, so we're figuring everything out as we go. but it appears that the timing pointer on this is indexed within a degree or so, one way or the other. It's very, very close. It's not far off. I double-checked the ignition timing and added 5 degrees, bringing our ignition timing to 45 degrees total. This change drastically improved throttle response and the idle speed increased. What I want to do is I want to take it up the road and test drive it with the timing and everything set the way it is, clean the plugs up, make a couple little pulls on motor, bring it back, and then maybe put a fresh set of plugs in the front 2 cylinders and just take it for a drive again and see if we've cleaned this thing up any.
Okay.
I can already tell it sounds crisp. Very crisp.
See how smooth it is now? We got that drive shaft fixed?
Yeah. I can literally hear that the engine is much happier. However, in order for me to know for sure if I'm going the right direction, I need to drive it myself. I've always had you or Billy drive it because you two have driven it far more than I ever have, and you have a better feel for this car than I do. I want to take it up the road and see what it feels like. It's hard for me to tune something watching somebody else drive it.
Yeah.
As soon as I pulled the car back in gear and touched the gas pedal, I knew we were headed the right direction. As you improve the tune-up on any engine, the car will start to feel lighter and the acceleration will seem more effortless. By driving the car up the road and getting a feel for it and reading spark plugs, we'll have a better indication of where we're going and where we need to go with the tune-up. And it was obvious after a few trips up the road, we're going to have to take some fuel away from the carburetor. I had Tanner pull it off the car and reduce each jet orifice by 0.02 of an inch in an attempt to lean the air-fuel curve out throughout the entire RPM range. It's easy to get lost tuning an engine trying to pull fuel away from something that just doesn't have enough timing in it to begin with. Although the carburetor still shows signs that it's a little bit on the rich side, the engine's street manners and drivability are very good and continue to improve. Over the last 30 years of working on cars and carburetors, this car drives better than anything I've ever driven with a Dominator. Based on the improvements I feel in drivability and part throttle cruise and wide open throttle, this car may actually break into the 9-second zone without having to spray it with nitrous. The car weighs approximately 3,550 pounds without a driver and without a full tank of fuel, which by the time we got done test driving it today was getting a little low. So Tanner and I drove it down to the fuel station and topped off the fuel tank with some fresh 110 octane race gas so that the car's ready for Billy to test drive it and hopefully test this weekend at trails. Okay, so that brings us to Thursday morning. Now, I had intended to get straight to work on the race cars and hopefully getting Billy to test drive the 55 before we get sidetracked with anything else. Unfortunately, my day was going sideways almost from Jump Street. Vicky received a report from Dave that a bird has built a nest in the range vent on the side of the race car trailer, and Vicky assigned Tanner with the job of eviction. And as you might imagine, the unwelcome tenant is not happy. Although I didn't catch it on camera, the bird has been dive-bombing Tanner.
It's the future resident.
Dave and Tanner carefully removed the eggs, while the bird moved its nest from the trailer to the exhaust stack of the fuel oil furnace in the old shop. But that's when my day started to get much worse really fast. About the time Billy pulled in, I ended up with the drone stuck in the damn tree.
All right, so bring us up to speed. So yesterday he crashed it, and today it's stuck in a tree.
This is a different one.
Different one.
I didn't crash it yesterday. I had to tell Numbnuts to let off the gas. The film, I'm trying to push it into one.
Back up.
Oh, it moved.
Somebody else ran into my drone.
Or record this so I can catch it.
Oh! Is it broke?
I don't know. In hand. No, it's fine. I caught it. Look at that. See?
You are good for something. Somehow Billy's always around to criticize my drone flying abilities. Hey, where are you going with my pizza? That's my lunch. And taking off with my leftovers.
Ungrateful kids, huh?
That was my Pizza Hut. My leftovers. I was going to have that for lunch today. All right, let's see if this thing flies. Hey, it flies.
Do you don't like it?
What the hell is that noise? You fixed it. I don't need buckwheat anymore.
Uh-oh. I like when buckwheat fixes it because it's not my problem.
It works.
Look at that.
That one's back up and running. Let's try the other one.
This is the one we had upside down in the tree.
This is the one out of the tree. The gimbal's all messed up.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can make it fly though. It says go fly.
Uh-oh.
Oh! It's flying! Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. This one's not flying right. Oh, this one.
Well, this one's about to get June attacked. Oh God, she almost got it.
But this one, I don't know. This one don't quite act right, man. This one's got something going on.
June's about to get this one.
Altitude isn't quite right.
Oh God, don't June.
This thing's got freaking problems. I mean, it flies okay, but the gimbal, not so much. All right, enough with the drone bullshit. We're back to serious business here.
Serious race car stuff here.
So we got this thing racked up.
Yep.
Let's check out the front suspension, see if we can get some more travel out of this thing.
I saw some snubbers on the control arms. Might be able to squeeze them out of it, but let's check and see the travel first.
It's got a little travel.
That's not bad, actually.
Set it down just a little bit. Right there. That's all it's got. Let's measure that.
From the board to the bottom of the fender, it says 29 inches.
29 inches. All right, let's pull those snubbers out and see what we get. I don't know if I can see them.
Let's see if I can get a light on them.
Oh, yeah, there they are. I can see them now with a light. Ooh. Uh-oh. We lost one.
It's on the floor. It's all right.
All right,
It's
let's
out
pull
our
this
way.
one out. Excellent. It is important that we check the brake hoses to make sure we don't rip the brake
Extend.
hoses off. Yeah, we don't want to overextend the brake hoses. You mean to hit the button?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to watch the brake hoses. Make sure they're still good.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it did get some more travel. It was 29 before.
We gained about an inch of travel.
About an inch?
Yeah. It says 30.
All right.
It looks like aggressively a lot more, but it's not really. And the wheel's still straight. So.
Yes. Check the brake hoses. Oh, an inch shouldn't have made any difference in the brake hoses, but
No, they're still got
okay.
plenty of movement in the
All
brake
right.
hoses.
For the people out there watching this, if you take the rubber snubbers out of the front end, always make sure that the brake hoses are plenty long, because if you take the snubbers out and you don't check the brake hoses, you can overextend them. And then when you go to stop at the end of the track, you might have a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. You might be seeing those hay bales or the net at the end of the track pretty quick.
All right, so now that we've got a little bit more travel out of the front end, we've got the ignition timing set, and I think the carburetor is pretty close. It's time to let this thing warm up so Billy can take it up the road for his first test drive. You ready to drive this thing?
Yeah. Sure. It's really beating on that pipes, isn't it?
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
That's like way better. It was like lazy before. Wow.
It moves very easily now.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Before, it felt like it was pulling a trailer.
Yeah. I thought it was just a converter.
Well, the converter's definitely loose, but
No, it gets up the road a lot easier now.
very much easier. shit, you gonna get stopped? Oh my God. Dude, this thing sings now, boy. Woo! What do you think?
Feels like 500 pounds lighter.
And that's with both of us in it.
Something in my eye.
You got dust in your eyes.
Wicked 55 right there.
Could you hear it from here?
Yeah. I was out there with the music going, listening to what Rob was listening to. Yeah, that thing runs pretty damn good. It feels like 500 pounds lighter. Mm-hmm.
It feels 500 pounds lighter with both of us in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty wicked.
She's lively.
It is lively.
Yeah, we took the...
Inverter and more nitrous.
Yep. We took the snubber out of the control arm and gained an inch of travel in the front, too,
Yeah.
so...
It goes really straight.
It does.
Even when it spins, it's track straight.
Yeah.
It's a badass car.
All right, so we've got the 55 ready to go test Friday. That's tomorrow. And the kids are out here working on the S10. They're trying to put new push rods in the S10. Rob and his dad are out here screwing around with the Falcon and putting a head on it for the second time. That's a long story. And then Billy's got some people out here putting stripes on his Nova. That's looking pretty good. And I'm getting into my pizza. I found it. It's out here on the table. So I'm eating my lunch real quick, and then I'm headed to House of Pearls because I've got some quarter panel to wheel well seals that they've been waiting on for a few weeks now. And they finally just came in. So I'm gonna run up here in the Malibu and drop them off. After I finished eating my leftover pizza, I loaded up these seals in the Malibu and I start making my way to the body shop. This is officially my first test drive after Buckwheat replaced the heater core in it for the second time. Anyway, I just need to get these seals taken up to the body shop because they've been waiting on these for several weeks. And without these seals, they can't continue on putting quarter panels on the car. So that's been the holdup on Mom and Dad's 55. Initially, we were hoping to have the car back by mid-summer. But at this point, it's probably going to be late fall if we get it back in time to drive it this year at all. But with a little bit of luck, Paul, Jesse, and Nikki up at House of Pearls assure me that the car will start to take shape pretty quickly, now that we've got everything we need. At least as long as we don't run into any more major roadblocks. But when you're taking a car this far apart, you never know what you're going to find from one day to the next. Luckily, those guys have plenty of stuff to keep them busy up there in the meantime while we're waiting on parts for my car. Of course, it doesn't help that we keep bringing more and more projects up there that bump my car further back in the line. For example, the repairs that they had to do on Vicky's El Camino. But regardless, now that these parts are in, hopefully we'll be able to get back on the 55 in a timely manner and hopefully get the car back before summer's over. I really want to be able to take my dad for a ride in it this year and let him see it. And there's also a possibility the car may be at PRI this winter to be put on display.
Yep. The real. Your savior has came. The real.
That gets you out of block sand and that Barracuda.
Yeah, thank you. Thank God, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
My turn now.
Yeah, I'm done sanding for the day.
I'm sorry it's taken so long to get those here.
It's not your fault.
I actually bought a set down at Restoration World.
Yeah.
And they've got my name on them. I already paid for them. I just haven't had time to get down there and get them. And then those finally showed up. So
Hell yes. You know what? I don't even care how they're here.
they're here. That's
They're
all
here,
you care.
That's all that matters.
Jesse's happy.
Doesn't take much to make me happy.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
So now we can get back on this thing. It's been a while. We've been waiting on these things. Like, you can't go any farther until you've got that seal for this quarter panel.
Yeah, because if I didn't have I'd have to take things back off and
Right. Just waste a bunch of time.
Yeah, it would have been a waste
Not
of time.
good.
They say that you can get it in with things installed. It's just
A nightmare.
they also say it's a nightmare too. And
Yeah. We don't need any more nightmares. We've
No.
got enough nightmares,
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah, we do. Yeah, we got a couple of them here.
All right, I'm going to let you guys get back to work. I don't want to hold you up. I just want to drop those off.
No, hey,
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you
very welcome.
much.
Thanks, guys. All right, so that brings us to Friday night, and now we are less than 12 hours away from going to the track and testing the 55 Chevy. But unfortunately, the kids have still got a couple irons in the fire that are still smoldering. After 2 days of working on the Falcon, the short story is it's still not running. At least not right. And the S10 hasn't had any attention to it, so it's not finished yet either. And the Nova, well, it's ready to test if it had oil for the oil change. Well, Dingus, you've got me in another predicament.
What's that?
You're asking me to go break into Mark's shop to get you some oil.
Yeah. I ordered some oil online and it hasn't come in yet. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, but I don't know if it's going to make it in time before testing.
So mission impossible for me.
You've got a key, don't you?
In fact, I do have a key, only to be used in emergency situations. And it just so happens the only time I end up in an emergency situation typically involves Junior waiting till the last second to order parts or supplies he needs to go to the track. The last time I tried doing something like this, I almost went to jail. But this time Mark claims he's got the alarm turned off remotely from his phone. Come on, June, we gotta find some... Good Lord. All right, I need 50 weight. That's 30, 20, oh no. Oh, yes. Confirmed, 50 weight. Oh, God. Now I gotta find an oil filter. Shit the bed. Where the hell? That's not it. Aha! Here we are. That's what I need right there. Come on, June pup. Come on. Oh, God. God have mercy, the shit I do for my kids. With a case of 50 weight oil and a filter in hand, me and my accomplice jump in the El Camino and head back to the shop to help Billy get the Nova ready to go test tomorrow at National Trails. They were hosting a private test session Friday, and we couldn't ask for any nicer weather. It was about 75 degrees, partly cloudy, with a slight breeze Friday morning. Molly bought back one of Billy's old Mustangs, and she was making some passes in it Friday morning. And of course, Billy had his Nova there. The Nova looked really, really strong in testing. You'll get to see that on Street Racing Channel later this week. Also, Allison had her Dart there, and I helped her get it ready the night before. You'll see that on Gen 2 Garage. But the main thing I was focused on today was Billy's 55 Chevy. I'm just hoping that all the work that I've done this week in tuning it shows up on the scoreboard after it makes its first pass. Tuning an engine without a dyno or an air fuel monitor can be difficult, so I was eager to see what the car ran on its first pass. Although I don't think we've got the car as good as it could be, the 55 managed to go 999 on motor.
Got it.
It was breaking up too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Where at?
Well, down low.
Down low?
The first gear. The plugs were, it needs like 7s for on motor.
Yeah.
Because the 10s just load up so bad at idle. But it cleaned up near the end of the run. It went 108.9 to the 8th.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Well, it went, you remember what I said it would go to the 8th mile? 636, and went 636 with an 8.
It went almost 109 to the 8th. Here's the thing, like, it was breaking up.
Yeah, I told you it'd probably take one pass to clean the plugs up.
7s for motor.
Yeah. I put 10s in it because I was thinking we'd spray it, but yeah, it'll take one pass to clean the plugs up, and then after that it'll probably pick up.
Tried to get in there and no shower.
Good job.
I saw it light up and I was like, oh, please be a 9. It went 990, what did it go, 998? 999 with an 8.
Almost 135. I think if it wouldn't have broke up, it might have been a 139 60 foot, because it was like, I was watching the tack and it was like 6,500 up and down, and then it went to 72 and I shifted.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think
lost 5 numbers just doing that.
well, I think the ignition system isn't quite up to the task of what it's doing, because it's a relatively low compression engine and we're running it on 110 octane race gas, and so it doesn't really put a lot of,
like a 7AO.
yeah, it needs a little bit better ignition box and probably a hotter plug if you're just going to drive it around, but it's got 10s in it for nitrous, but we're just learning. We're learning what the engine likes, you know. Personal bests everywhere today.
Yeah.
I knew it'd go at 9 with his skinny ass in the driver's seat.
In the heat. Yeah.
I mean, imagine if it was at night and the DA was down.
Yeah.
It might be in the 80s.
Now that the plugs are cleaned up a little bit, you can probably go up here to pick up probably a 10th. Well, guys, we had a pretty good day today at the track. Everybody got personal best. You'll get to see all that on Gen 2 Garage and on Street Racing Channel. I showed the 55 because I've been working on it, but the car ran really, really good today, despite the fact that, you know, by the time we drove it over there, the plugs had gotten a little bit black. I need to start working on the intermediate circuit now. I think I've got wide open throttle really good. I think the idle's pretty decent. However, the intermediate circuit, I think, is just a little bit on the rich side. And I'm going to start working on that. Obviously, needs a little hotter plug probably for driving it around on the street. But I think that if I had the intermediate circuit dialed in a little bit better, I think we'd be in better shape overall. So I'm going to work on that probably this next week. And you guys will be able to follow along as I work my way through this. Like I said, this is a brand new carburetor that ATM is coming out with. There's only a handful of these out there at this point. And this one I want to try and dial in for street use. Typically street cars with Dominators don't cruise very well. This one cruises exceptionally well, but we're not quite perfect just yet, although we've picked the car up at least 2/10. I think the personal best on this car previously was either 1013, 1017, maybe a 1008, I don't know, somewhere in there. Earlier today, Tanner went up and made a hit in it after Billy made that pass. We put a new set of plugs in it and put a -7 plug in it. And Tanner went up, and Tanner's 100 pounds heavier than Billy, and went 1003 at 135. So with Billy in the car, it would have been probably a 980, 990. So it's probably 2 to 3 tenths faster than typically what it would run. And we have not changed the converter yet. I've got a new converter coming from Bubba Rafferty. Looking forward to that. We're still working on this thing. We're still picking our way through, you know, trying to get it as best we can get it and get it to cruise around as best we can. And I'm pretty excited. I was really happy. It runs really good. When you drive it up the road, it's just, I mean, a high 9-second street car on motor is pretty lively, you know. It runs really good. It's fun to drive for sure. And keep in mind, we've got an opportunity for you guys to win a brand new ATM carburetor this month. In fact, let's go back to the back shop because Vicky was wanting to talk a little bit about that tonight before I finish up this video. Miss Squirrely,
Yes.
what have you got for me tonight?
Just a reminder that you've got the chance to win an ATM carburetor going on till the end of May. Any purchase you make gets you a chance to enter.
And you're going to come pick it up here.
Yes.
Possibly, if you want to.
And if they're close enough, they can bring their car and you'll put it on for them.
I'll help them dial it in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I've been known to do that a few times.
But, so yeah, check out, we've got all new stuff, new designs.
I love those new carburetors.
Yeah.
The new carburetor shirts and hoodies.
Yeah.
I've had some people ask if we're going to do hats. I think hats would look really cool.
I do need to get with Gina on a new hat. We haven't had a new hat since the original one, so
I think those
on
carburetor hats would be sick.
Yeah. And I have a new color that I just released tonight. Coral.
Oh yeah?
Coral. It's so pretty. It's like a deep
Wait a minute,
peachy.
that's not a guy color.
No, this is for the ladies. It's got white glitter with a coral. Oh, it's very pretty. So check those out. Those are on the website.
Okay.
And the signs, the metal signs with that same design.
Yeah, those are really cool too.
Well.
I want to get some of those for the shop.
Yes, those are going over well. So.
In fact, we need to start interior decorating
I
here.
know. So here's the thing. Over the years, people have sent us some really cool metal signs.
We got a bunch of them.
We have a bunch of them. I have a stack like this. And it's just a matter of, I don't just want to put stuff up willy-nilly. I want to kind of plan out how I want it, and things are evolving, but we have decorating to do for sure.
No, good grief.
So my conference table, I love it. The kids love it. It's comfortable, and it's very, I know it looks a little cluttered down there, but listen, I have a plan.
It's the newest catch-all.
Trust the process.
Okay.
It's going to be cool.
All right. We good? We're done?
Good night.